I started striking when I was 4 because my older brother and sister were doing it. And I was always on the side of the mat. So then they actually started a 4 to 5-year-olds class just because I wanted to get on the mat and train so bad. And that's still going today, and now I teach that class, so it's quite a nice full circle thing. Hello, I'm Dylan O'Brien. I'm a brown belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
So was it just after that point of like your parents setting up that class for you that you kind of just really got into it?
Well, it was me and my buddy when I was little. We always just were running on the mat when my brother and sister were training and stuff. Because that was when the gym my dad owns, and I still train at today. That's when it was just in his early days. I started to say I don't want to really strike as much anymore. I just want to focus on jiu-jitsu. And then I started to compete and I started to get medals. And then when I tried out for the UK team, the junior UK team, and some of the people I met there were still really good mates with now. In jiu-jitsu is a lot of training yourself and also passing on knowledge, especially if you're a high-level competitor. It's about learning stuff and then passing on, especially feeding it back to your own gym and trying to get the people at your gym up as well. It's like that full circle thing, because when I was younger, I looked up to were brown belts, my age competitors, and they're my inspiration to carry on. And I like to think that I am that inspiration to them, inspiring for me to now I've got that need to keep progressing, because I have these students that need to look up to me to train, and I need to be that role model. And when you're teaching a class, especially of young people, and you see them get better and come up to me after class, I want to compete, I want to do this. And there's the parents coming up to me and be they had trouble at school before and they weren't eating, they were not doing well, and then after training for a while they come to their parents and oh, thank you and stuff like that. It's really quite rewarding. Encouragement I give to my juniors when I teach is if you want to just do jiu-jitsu for an after school club, that's fine. But if you give it the energy, I was like you guys, I wasn't particularly outstanding, but I put the work in and I've gone to countless places just to compete, which is nice.
Have you ever won a tournament?
Biggest one was probably the Pan Am Championships in California, which is pretty much, there's no junior world championships outside the UK, but the Pan Am is the unofficial junior worlds. So if you win that, then that's you're pretty much junior world champion. That one I was 13, maybe a little bit younger, but it was an absolutely massive stadium. I had to try out for the team, and I remember trying out for the junior UK team, and no, there's no way I'm going. I'm just not. It's just not, because I only fought in 4 or 5 comps before trying out for the team, and I was like, there's no way. And then they're calling out the names, heard my name, and I was like, oh, I'm on the team, that's sick. But I doubt I'll get selected to go to the Worlds. And then a letter come in the post, and my dad's like, Dylan, sit down. I was like, what? I was like, we're going to California. And I was like, oh, and I was so excited. But then it kind of dawned on me, right, this is where the hard work starts. Now I got trained, and then I took bronze there. So went all the way over, took bronze, come home.
So you've gone to America 13, 14, your dad's had to sit you down and basically be look kid, you need to get ready now. What was that like when you first got there on the tournament day? Because that must have been so scary.
It was, but what made it better was the fact that I wasn't the only kid there. I was part of a UK squad, and all of us trained together for it, and we were selected to go together, and the bonds we made training, very constant. Whenever one of our teammates were on the mat, we were all huddling up in the stands and shouting. So it was you were scared, but you knew you're not the only one that's nervous. Also, the coaches as well, that there, two main coaches of the UK team at the time were a guy called Neil Simpkin and Jimmy Johnson. Jimmy Johnson's still my head coach. My dad trains underneath Jimmy, and then I train underneath my dad. So it's that chain of command type thing. And those two, they fought for many years as well. So they guided us and gave us encouraging words. Yeah.
So what was that last fight like? Because I'm gathering that the last fight you lost then.
Yeah. It was, it's just, with jiu-jitsu, it's really hard to take losses in your stride, especially at that level. But I remember coming off the mat and I was like, man, I could have got the guard, I could have got this. But then my coach was saying to me, Neil Simpkin sat me down, he was like, you're so young. It was like, most jiu-jitsu fighters don't reach their peak until they're like 25, 30, and you're 13. It's like, just the act of coming here, all the training you've done for it, that's made you better. It was like, the comp is just a comp, there's one next year and the year afterwards. But like the training you've done for it, that's what matters. You'll barely remember losing here. You'll just remember what you've learned and then moving on and then compete more afterwards. Big thing was like my social life, where it's like I wanted to go to the park with my friends, or like even like now I want to go out for a night out with my mates, or like, but I had training the next day. And it's like my dad explained to me, because he went through the same thing I'm going through, where he was training when he was my age, but he couldn't go because he had training. And he was like, when you're older, you're never going to remember half of these times. But when you're older, you look back and you look at all the training you did and all the places you've been, that's what you're going to remember. And obviously my dad understands that I'm a 19-year-old and I still have to go out and enjoy myself, but it's about not jeopardizing like your future and like trying to keep the ball rolling and like keep training. Even training now, because everyone gets a day where I wake up and I'm like, man, I just cannot be bothered to go training. I feel rough, my back hurts, my arm hurts, I don't want to go. But I got into this mindset of like complain about it, a bit of self-pity when I'm driving to the gym. But as soon as I get into the gym, there's a switch and then I turn on and I just do it. I went on like a losing streak where every time I fought I just wouldn't do well. And I was like 15, 16, and like he was there every single step of the time. And it's like, if I win or lose a match, if I win, lose or whatever, when I walk off the mat there's always a hug, and my dad always like lets me know that it's like, as long as you try your best, like come off the mat, we'll drive home, get KFC on the way home, and then we'll review the videos and we'll work on it. So it's always positive, you know. So if I didn't have my dad as my dad, I don't even think I'd still be training. I'd probably be doing something else, what I thought.
Dylan's been born into this environment. His older brother and sister trained. He was always at the side of the mat, even in his pushchair. Every parent wants their child to go on and achieve something special, but in the end it's got to be their drive, it's got to be their ability. I've never had to push Dylan, I've never had to get him out of bed and force him onto the mats. It's always been something that he wanted. And the natural progression is, you're going to do something, why not aim for the top? Okay, someone's got to be world champion, someone's got to be at the top of the podium, okay, and why can't that be you? Well, all my children teach, and again I do get immense pride as a father and a coach, but that's part of our duty because we were taught by our coaches, and it's our duty then to pass that on to the next generation. All the great things that we've got out of training, all the time our coaches spent with us, then I think it's our duty then to pass that on to the next generation. And then hopefully, you know, some of Dylan's students now will go on in the future to achieve great things, and you know, they will start teaching as well. The whole ethos of martial arts is to learn it, master it, pass it on. And again, you know, we've got all his medals and trophies and belts up in the gym, you know, so we can show the kids, look, this is what you can do if you really apply yourself and you push yourself. We've, you know, Dylan's done it. There's no reason, there was no special magic involved in that. With hard work, any single one of you could be in exactly the same position. It was totally alien. Totally alien. I mean, I've been training since I was 12 years of age. You know, usually 5 to 6 days a week. I'm on the mats. To suddenly not be on the mats, it was just felt really, really strange, and something I didn't really get used to. As Dylan said, you know, we did spend some time up the gyms on the mats recording videos. We did bring some mats home and set that out in the garden, which is really difficult because the dog kept on jumping in and wanted to join in with it. We've got a large German Shepherd who every time we want to practice would want to join in. But yeah, the whole thing was surreal. The whole thing was surreal. And it's just so nice now to be back on the mats, seeing the team again. As Dylan said, you know, it's the best medicine in the world to be there with you guys in your team.